Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Lake Cities podcast with Chris and Lucas. Today, I'll be playing the part of Chris Respis, and across from me...
Oh, my goodness. Woo-wee.
That's how we would really know what we thought of each other. We just do impressions the whole time.
Oh, man.
That'd be terrible.
I don't have the vocabulary for all that.
Oh,
bro.
whatever, dude.
You too deep.
I don't have the swagger for it.
Well, that might be true.
Yeah.
No, that's whatever. Whatever.
Hey, so this week is a pretty important week.
Absolutely.
For I guess most of the country,
yeah.
and definitely for those who are Christians, because we're celebrating Holy Week this week, which is really exciting. This is the week that traditionally it's believed that Jesus entered into Jerusalem, and that is signified kind of like the day after Passover begins, with his triumphal entry on Palm Sunday, and then ends with Easter or Resurrection Day, which celebrates the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which is a really important and exciting week. And so there are several churches across the cities that are doing things.
Sure.
But before we hop into that and all of the important stuff that happens there, including Easter egg hunts and what you're going to give Charmaine in her Easter basket, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what we did on Saturday. So this Saturday, we partnered with the C7 Coalition to End Human Trafficking. So it's C7 HTC, humantraffickingcoalition.org.
Okay.
So yeah, c7htc.org if you want to check out some of their stuff. We had Abby Germer on a few months ago with Refuge for Women.
Right.
So they were a part of this as well, just to raise awareness for some things on the 35 corridor that are happening. And for those of you who don't know, the 35 corridors, so that is I-35 all the way down to the tip of Texas, up through to the northern tip of Minnesota. It is one of the longest stretches of highway in the United States. It's pretty straight the entire way through, but it is one of the primary corridors for sex trafficking.
Wow.
And so we were marching in Kensington Square, so near where Chick-fil-A and Albertsons is, in that area, and some of the statistics on the signs really gave me pause.
All right.
Like that only 1% of people who are involved in human trafficking are actually rescued from human trafficking.
Oh, my goodness.
That the average age that somebody gets like starting to be groomed is 12. And that most of the time, most of the victims are like fully indoctrinated or engrossed in it by age 13, and they're basically ditched at age 25.
What?
So it's absolutely insane what's going on. So we had an opportunity to be part of. They call the march "One Voice, One Fight."
Okay.
It's great. Dennis from For the One was a big help in putting that on. So it was we had a really great turnout, and something that if you guys want to participate in raising awareness about human trafficking, there'll be more to come. This is going to be the first of a few of these awareness raising events that'll be going on in correlation and correspondence in cooperation. That's the word I'm looking for. All of those. I'm going to get to the right vocabulary word.
With showing off.
That's exactly right. With the C7 Human Trafficking Coalition, as well as a lot of the local law enforcement departments, Lake Dallas PD, Denton County Sheriff's Department, Corinth PD were all represented, and people that were there as well. So that was a really cool thing to get to be a part of. Heartbreaking. On the one end, but really awesome. So let's talk about Easter week.
Sure.
About Holy Week. And all of that stuff. This is it's pretty significant for the Christian.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Christmas has come again.
Christmas has come again. Yeah. So Pastor Chris, tell me, why is Easter week important?
Well, I mean, for the church, obviously, it gives us the opportunity to commemorate, what our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, did.
Yeah.
We get to be reminded of God's great sacrifice in giving his son to die in our place, that we might be forgiven of our sin if we would humble ourselves and put our trust in him. But this last week, we preach all, as the Lord would give us opportunity, we preach and we share the gospel, and being in the Bible Belt, we all kind of know that the answer is Jesus.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever church question you get asked, it's always Jesus. But in spite of that, sometimes we don't always mentally and emotionally engage in what the price that he actually paid, that salvation might be free for us.
Yeah.
And so in this week, the Holy Week, the Passion Week,
Yep.
We're able to slow down enough, right, to really reflect and engage upon, what Christ actually did, starting with Palm Sunday, where the people are crying out, "Save us."
Yeah.
Which is odd because by the end of the week they're saying crucify him, right?
It's a big juxtaposition.
Yeah,
for sure.
Asking him to save on one end and then asking that he be killed on the other. But that's why it's important, because the church reaffirms its commitment to Christ corporately, but individually we all have to do work with our own hearts, acknowledging that we needed a Savior.
Yeah.
And we see God's great love for us and Christ's great sacrifice for us, that we might be forgiven and be called the sons and daughters of God.
Come on, baby.
Come on.
So we know that there are several people who listen to this show that don't have religious affiliations.
Right.
And we thank you guys for listening, whether you're Christians, non-Christians, maybe you grew up in church, but that's really, you've decided that's not your thing anymore. You're agnostic. And even we've got some atheist listeners who listen to this, and we do this podcast as a public service.
Sure.
But we would be remiss to not talk about what this week means to so many in our community.
Absolutely.
As it comes to Easter. And I think what you just gave us was a beautiful presentation of the reason that the week is so important. And it culminates on Sunday with the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So we don't know from a historical standpoint what the exact date of the resurrection was. Right, the eyewitness accounts that we have in the Gospels. These aren't guys that are taking down dates and times on everything. Right, they didn't have their day planner.
Right, they're frankly.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Matthew's not going through his PDA. He's not chiseling stuff on his Palm Pilot.
Brother, Palm Pilot.
Yeah, to have all of that stuff done. But we have these beautiful accounts of what happened, the excitement that surrounded Jesus' resurrection, the amount of people that saw him. There's so much good, rich historical evidence that this was an event that actually happened, which is why we continue to celebrate it over 2,000 years later. So what are some things that you do, maybe some family traditions that you have that surround Easter? Because I know we had some. What were some of your family traditions around Easter?
Yeah, growing up, we used to do the Easter egg hunt. And, color the Easter eggs. I wouldn't even know how to do it. The whole house smelled like vinegar.
It's so bad.
And, red number 7 or 14 or whatever it was.
Yep.
So that we used to have the Easter baskets. My mom would, I grew up in a single parent home, and so my mom would get Easter baskets with the little chocolate, Easter bunny.
And she put the fake grass in it.
Yeah, it came with fake grass.
Gotta have the
mushroom ducks or whatever.
Yeah,
chickens
the
or whatever.
Peeps and all that stuff. Yeah, man.
And then the Easter outfits.
Yeah.
Right, we always had a new suit or some kind of new outfit,
and it was always bright.
Yeah, it had to be bright.
The spring colors,
man. That's it. Pastels. The power of pastels. And that was it. Growing up here, more recently, I try to make a point to watch the Passion of the Christ. And which is hard. It's heavy.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it just kind of helped me to kind of snatch off some of the romantic aspects of Christ's sacrifice and just kind of really see it for what it might have been, likely was. And so we do that, and typically we have a Good Friday service, or try to go to one, and folks preaching the last 7 sayings from the cross, and that kind of thing, and then we just get ready for Resurrection Sunday, bro.
Come on, baby.
What about you?
So we used to have the Easter baskets whenever I was growing up, and so Mom would put obviously you get some Cadbury eggs in there. There was always a chocolate Easter bunny, and then we'd get the Peeps too. Well, my brothers and I had this tradition. We did this thing called Peep Jousting.
Okay.
And so what you do is, if you've ever, and if kids are listening, I'm sorry, parents, this is a terrible idea. You would get 2 Peeps, right? Yeah. And then you stick a toothpick into the Peep. So it's got like a little lance. And then you put them in the microwave. So the Peeps will both swell up huge in the microwave. And then eventually they'd get so big that one Peep would pop the other one with its toothpick. And so we would mark whichever one was our Peep. and then we would have Peep jousting competitions.
That's
once Mom and Dad were out,
now
because if they would have seen us do that, it would have been a world of trouble.
That's it.
So Peep jousting was a big part of
right.
it, and then our mom also used to get us books.
Okay.
Every Easter.
Okay.
And it wasn't always something that had to do with something spiritual. It might be a book that we really liked. One Easter she got my sister some of the Harry Potter books because she really loved those. Some Lord of the Rings books for the boys. One year in particular, though, she got me a book about the Midway. Right, the battleship, the Midway, and I loved that. Now I lost it whenever the house burned down, but it was one of my favorite books growing up, and that was an Easter gift. So she always got us, some candy and stuff, but then something to read. So while we were rotting our teeth, we were growing our brains, that kind of thing. And then the same thing, Easter outfits, and so I come from a family of 4.
Okay,
I'm the oldest of 4. My 2 younger brothers look almost identical to me. Right? So they knew that they got the mold right. They just had some tweaking to do with the internals, So, so Mom would dress us alike on Easter.
My goodness.
So we looked like triplets everywhere that we went from when we were little bitty. And so we've got all of these really great, cute Easter pictures, but our wives have so much trouble whenever it comes to like that period of time, figuring out who's who in the pictures, because we all had hair back then as well. So it was an awesome time, but it also, you look back at those and you're like, what were you? And we grew up in the 90s, and that is the time that fashion forgot.
Oh, yeah.
There was nothing good about the 90s. We were trying to figure out whether or not we wanted our shorts from the 80s or whether we wanted them, where they were in the 2000s. Yeah. So there was this huge difference in all of it. And year to year, you can see as the trends change. But a lot of pastels, like you said, lots of pinks and greens. Which I have determined now, not my colors.
That's not you?
That's not it. Blue jeans and a black shirt.
That works.
If that would be an Easter outfit, that's what I would wear.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
So no matter what. So what are you guys doing at Antioch for Easter?
Yeah, so with us, we still have been, on the tail end of this COVID pandemic and trying to navigate that. Which has been interesting, and so for us, we're going to have our 8:30 and 10:30 service,
right,
on Easter Sunday. Still, social distanced with the pods. We were thinking that there would be maybe people in the congregation who wanted to be close to the family and see people, but maybe not feel comfortable still being in the corporate gathering. And so we're going to have some of our technology folks.
Come on, baby.
Come on, man. Push the message out, via FM receiver or something.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Folks who just kind of maybe wanted to sit in the car or whatever, but be on campus and see people, they could do that and listen and, like I said, not be in the building, but still kind of be around,
be
the family.
With everybody, even though they're not risking anything.
Exactly. And of course, we'll still be, we'll still have our online presence with our live stream, and that's going to be about it. Some of the other, some of the other churches, like you mentioned, are having some things. So I think people are going to maybe branch out and try to support some other ministries, but that's pretty much it, man. Just keeping it simple, and especially with us coming off not really gathering, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Because this will be one of the first times that you're open back up, and that'll be awesome.
Yeah. What y'all doing?
This is a really important time.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of things going on. For the first time in a few years, we're going to do a sunrise service.
All right.
That was something that my grandparents loved, and that I did not love.
I know that's right.
There was a stronger word that I was thinking about using, but I'm going to go with did not love. Because I've never been a morning person, right? Like if I need my coffee at like 8:30.
Yeah.
When I'm barely awake. But now a lot of that's changed, and sunrises, and I think until like 7:30 on that Sunday morning. So we're gonna have a sunrise service where people just gather in front of our church, which the front of our church is actually on the, I'm trying to get my directions right, on the east side of the building.
I can't help you.
Yeah, it's on the east side of the building. So we'll get to watch the sun come up kind of as it comes up over Lake Dallas. We'll be singing some praise hymns that'll be led by our worship pastor, Matt Fairchild. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to have our normal service time, but we're going to do it outside.
Okay.
We had some really cool services last year that were outside during during the pandemic, so everybody gets the opportunity to spread out and sort of be where they feel like they're safe.
Yeah.
So bring some lawn chairs. If you get the pop-up tents, you're welcome to bring those and get some shade.
That's
good. But we've got a couple of guests who are coming to help us with music. You will still have me preaching, so
that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, whatever people feel about that, that's it. It just depends on which email you read that I get back and how you actually like it. So we're going to be doing it outside, and then immediately afterwards, so that the adults can help us tear down, because the outside is a lot of work.
Yeah.
We're going to have some Easter eggs so that the kids can go over and do a quick Easter egg hunt afterwards. Cool. So it'll be pretty fun. We're looking forward to it. And the weather's supposed to be good.
Well, see, that's the thing, man. Yeah.
Right, because it's Texas.
Oh, brother, you just don't know.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we looked at it originally, I think it was like a 20% chance of precip.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to use the weatherman words.
Precip.
20% chance of precip, and then last week it bumped up to like 40, and yesterday it's 0.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So we do have a backup plan, and if you get here and it's raining, we'll let you know what the backup plan is then.
Yeah.
Because we are, at the time of this recording, we are making the backup plan. Yeah, we'll move inside. We get some overflow areas and some stuff like that to check out.
Yeah.
So what are you looking most forward to in the coming weeks? With Easter, we got the finalizing of the NCAA tournament, which I know you're excited about. What are you looking most forward to as we wrap up?
Man, really, I am looking forward to the culmination of March Madness.
Yeah.
Like, Carolina boy. I'm already heartbroken about UNC.
Yeah. And Oral Roberts.
Oh, man.
That was a tough loss, dude, for a Cinderella. They were so close, man.
That was just...
it was heartbreaking.
It was. It was. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I watched Baylor last night, and man, that was a great game. But really working towards, having our congregation get back on a regular rhythm.
Yeah.
At least asked to worship. We've been doing, other aspects of the ministry, but I'm looking forward to that and praying that these numbers stay low comparative, to what they were towards the end of 2020. And just, getting back to our normal rhythm, man. I miss the people. I think the people miss each other. And just,
the people miss you,
man. Chris. I don't know if they miss me, brother. They kind of like, we see his big head on YouTube, right, looking like a little milk dud talking, in front of the camera. But
that is one of the things about doing the online stream that's weird, is because so many people have these televisions now that are so big that your head is actually larger than life. I was watching, I went over to my parents' house and they were watching the live stream, and I was like, my head is not that big,
dude,
right? There's no way that my bald spot is getting that. Like, and so I'm like having my wife check me out.
Come
like,
on,
no,
man.
you're not bringing, you need a heavier light to check out what's really happening.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. What about you? What's on
Man,
your mind?
I think a lot of it's the same stuff, is getting everybody together. I'm excited to do something outdoors again. I'm going to have to take a Benadryl and a Zyrtec in order to make it happen.
I couldn't do it.
We both talked about how we can't take that Mucinex afternoon because we won't be sleeping.
That's right.
So there's a lot of that I'm looking forward to. Getting to do something outside again it's on the one hand it's a bit of a novelty, but it's also really fun. Our congregation really loves it. It's great for the city. We have a ton of fun with it. I've got a really great cover for my iPad so that it doesn't overheat we had happen in last June.
Yeah.
But the main thing is getting everybody together again. It seems like people are more comfortable being outside or even inside now. That we're finally getting to that point where we realize how much we crave that interaction.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to get to come back to some of that. Well, no matter where you guys are at or where you worship, do come and check it out. Pastor Chris, your service times are 8:30 and 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got our sunrise service at 7:30 in the morning, and then 11 a.m. for our main service. Make sure you bring a long chair and join us. There's some other great churches in the area. If you want to go check them out, you can find them easily on the What's Happening Lake Cities Facebook page and the Lake Cities Buzz. Both of those Facebook pages have a lot of great information about the services and things that are going on. Thank you guys for listening. As we close, for the Lake Cities podcast, I've been Chris Respis.
And I am still trying to be Luke Pinker.
Hey, thank you guys very much. We'll see y'all next week.
Y'all be good.
Bye.